Then. Okay, well, hey everybody, welcome to Steve Couper's podcast for aspiring real estate investors. In each episode, we look to bring seasoned investors and industry subject matter experts who are eager to share their experiences and tips for success when investing in real estate. Now, before I forget, please, if you like what you're seeing, hit the like button down below. If you think your friends would enjoy it, make sure you share it with them, and please hit the subscribe button if you want to see more of it. Now, for today, I'm excited because I've got a friend, a friend that I'd like to share with you. She's been a friend since the beginning for me, I think. And when we talk about real estate investing, that's important, right? We have to have this community with us. And so Debbie's been in my community now for a couple of years. She's a coach for corporate professionals. She helps build their personalized brand and help them with their real estate investment strategy so that they can ditch their 9 to 5 and enjoy financial and time freedom. She's a real estate investment coach and a podcast host. And I'd like to introduce everybody as Steve Couper's podcast guest number 25. This is Debbie Balfour. Welcome, Debbie.
Thank you so much, Steve, for having me.
Did I get everything right?
Yes, yep.
Perfect. So before we dig into any questions, Debbie, maybe you can tell us a bit more about yourself.
Certainly. I started real estate investing later in life, about 5 years ago, when as I hit 50 years old. So it is possible for an old dog to learn new tricks, and it's never too late to start investing or start what you're passionate about,
You're
even if
far
it's
from an
not
old
real estate
dog, just to
investing.
start that off. Let's make sure.
So, I do have two adult kids that I always say is my greatest accomplishment. And I am married, although in real estate investing circles, people are surprised because he's like this, my fake husband or someone I say that is there because he's not involved in the real estate investing,
Is
but
that
he is
his
my
hand behind
support.
you? Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, that's it.
There
That's
it's
it. Yeah,
there.
he's
Okay.
they're holding me up. So he is there he's always there supporting me, which is always important to have. He's there behind the scenes supporting me, but he lets me do my own thing. And so yeah, so I when I fell into real estate, when I learned about real estate investing, I realized that this was my passion. It was something that was calling to me for years, and I kept, but years ago when we were younger, there wasn't internet, there wasn't, Facebook, there wasn't Zoom, there wasn't anything like that. So it was a bit harder to get information around it. So although it was there in my mind, it got, pushed aside quite quickly because I didn't know what to do about it. So, yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about coaching, shall we? So,
Mhm.
there's a lot of people out there that are offering coaching and just about everything. Um, what's your approach and strategy to coaching of real estate investors? Are you targeting newbies? Are you looking for seasoned investors? What is it that you're helping them succeed at?
So I'm working with aspiring and novice real estate investors because I'm not that far away from remembering what it felt like. I also, going through my own coaching programs as I was learning about real estate investing, and I still have a lot more to learn. But there were gaps that I found, and there were things that I found that I felt that could be done better. And it's no sense, I believe, in criticizing. I'm all about finding solutions. So I wanted to be the solution for some of those. So a lot of programs are great in that they teach you all these strategies. But what I found, many real estate investors, because I did a lot of market research around it too, they were feeling overwhelmed and stuck. That they had spent all this money on learning, but they didn't know how to move forward themselves. They didn't know what was the best strategy for them. How do they figure out what that best strategy was? So that was the gap there. And there's either people that either go one way in that they don't do anything because they become paralyzed, or there are others that just try this, try that, try that, try that, try that, like and they're spending time and money trying all these things and still not feeling passionate or not getting the results
I,
they really
I, I,
wanted.
I can resonate with that because truly there is a barrage of opportunity, a constant barrage of new things that pop up that want to distract your attention.
Hmm.
And, if you don't have a clear strategy or business plan on what it is you want to do, it's easy to find yourself trying to do everything and getting nothing done. I
Yeah,
couldn't agree more.
exactly. Yeah. And
Couldn't
then,
agree.
there are these other great coaches that are like, forget it. I'm not teaching everything. I'm going to drill down into one specific strategy and do that, which is great too. But if you don't know what the right strategy is for you, how do you know that this program is the right one for you? So I wanted to use my skills from corporate, my business analysis skills, my project management skills to help people step back and really understand themselves first. In everything, it's about self-awareness. So real estate investing is no different. Like we need to understand who you are as an individual first. And how much time do you actually have? How much money do you have? What are your skills? What do you like? What don't you like? What skills you have that you're like, but I don't like doing that anyways, right? Like those kind of things. What are your ethics? What are like things that it's non-negotiables for you? All of these things. What are your big dreams?
Yeah.
Now let's get that understanding and then let's compare it to the barrage of strategies that are out there. And let's figure out now which one is right based on these things that you've now understood about yourself. And it's not just one vanilla strategy, it's a combination of strategies that you can put together to make that perfect strategy, do that thing that is unique to you.
Yeah.
Okay?
But
Um,
there's so much truth to that. I think as I look at the coaching that I've had in the past, there's been some really good coaching and some really ineffective, I'm going to say, moments, and so taking the time to understand the person's goals and where they want to go has got to be clear in the coach's mind. And then, what is the role of the coach as you once you know that goal? What does the coach do then?
Well, it's then helping them to now build out that strategy to make it unique. Like ask them questions as how are you going to finance this? Are you looking for partnerships? Are you self-financing? What do you like? What do you like? Like what sort of what sort of rental strategies would appeal to you? Do you want long-term people there? Do you like hospitality? Like for myself, when I look back, like I worked on cruise ships and I worked in hotels. And so hospitality is something that I really like. So the short-term rentals really resonated with me. So it's those kind of things. Like just people have it in them. The answers are in them. As a coach, it's for you to ask the right questions for them to start thinking and bring out those answers. So that's my job is to work there and then advise and guide and okay, let's put that together now that we figured out the strategies, now how do we make it actionable? So now that's my project management skills that I'm going to put in there and help them with, okay, let's make these out into tasks. What do we need to do? Do you need to do in order, whether it's find partners, learn more about this, go get some printed material, like just make all those tasks and then make it so that it's repeatable. So that's the other part. I'm about learn and implement, learn and implement, learn and implement. If we spend all that time learning and then and then implement after, we forget what we learned at the beginning.
I don't want to take ownership of that or actually acknowledge it, but it's true, I think. Yeah, no, it's for sure that it's all too easy to find yourself saturated with information that you haven't actually put into action, and it's needing to be relearned, right? That's I think what happened.
Yes, exactly. So that's what I did in corporate. I taught people in learning and development, I taught people things that they would then go bite size and then go and implement. I even created systems with learning right into it. So they didn't even have to learn outside of the system. It's as they were doing the job, as they were learning the technology was guiding them to put in the information. So they didn't have to learn and, it's saving time. You're learning and implementing at the same time.
You mentioned something that's triggered this question. It's you mentioned short-term rentals,
Mm-hmm.
and the BC government, as you know, both live in BC, has recently made it rather challenging for anybody to be involved in short-term rentals. Um,
Mm-hmm.
as you're teaching people certain strategies, and you got your focus here, and change comes up. How are you teaching people to pivot and be able
Well,
to?
that's the thing with real estate. We always say that we should have more than one exit strategy. So short-term rentals might be your ideal, but we never calculate. We should never calculate our numbers based on short-term rentals. We should actually calculate it based on long-term rental. And, even getting into a property, so you shouldn't be assessing it based, I'm going to have this as short-term rentals or short-term rental. We should be calculating it based on a long-term. And then short-term is the icing on the cake. So yes, I'll teach them how to do that and do that properly. But that's exactly the thing. So the project manager again in me always teaches, part of my course is to look at risk management. And that's something I find that real estate investors don't do, is we don't think about when we first start this into real estate investing, that it's a business. And any good business plan has a risk management plan to it. So what if? I mean, I'm the most optimistic person ever, right? I always say, but at the same time, I force myself to think about all these what ifs. And that what if is my mitigation plan. It's my risk management plan. So where all those what ifs goes into it. And then we do, okay, well, if this is to happen, then what would I implement to mitigate this risk? Or can I just eliminate the risk totally? Like, is there a way to eliminate
Is that
the
something you revisit often? Is it a monthly exercise, quarterly, or how often do you?
Well, if the risk hasn't come up, then but if the once a risk has actually materialized, it's now an issue.
It certainly
So
is.
so you would go back to it and then, and say, okay, what did I plan for this? And then now how do I, action this issue? But you would go back to maybe add to it, because as you go through, as the life cycle of your real estate investing is happening, and new things have, like we mentioned, the whole thing about the short-term rentals in BC, regulations happen, new regulations. Sometimes we can't even predict where this government is going to think, what they're going to do next. So yeah, so then you can start adding more risks onto that plan, definitely.
Well, that's something that I'm familiar with in my day job, but I certainly appreciate that the same kind of approach needs to exist in real estate. It's not a it's isn't doesn't need to be different, you know.
Exactly. It is a business. It's
And
any
so,
business. It's the
and
same.
and the parallels you're leveraging from your corporate career in your real estate business, I think that's really important for investors to consider is, what do you bring to the table? You're not empty-handed as you start out. You've actually got a lot of skills that you bring to the table that can.
Exactly. Well, that was something I realized after the fact too. Like I was running my real estate like if it was just stocks. And then all of a sudden I had all these properties and oh my gosh, I had to step back. And then it came to me, it's like, Debbie, you do this in corporate, you do that in corporate, you go into, organizations and help them with their processes and fix their process. And then there's no way you would ever, like, you would be like, I would be off absolutely, horrified if I went into the organization and there wasn't a plan and there wasn't, processes. And yet I had started doing my things without that. I was
Yeah.
like, but I compartmentalized, my day job with my real estate investing.
Yeah, no, it's definitely there. And there's so many elements to real estate management that you've got to keep your eye on the ball. It's essential to have a plan on how you're going to do that. I like that.
Definitely.
So, I mean, there's also there's a lot of ups and downs with markets. There's different elements to this. We have to raise capital, as you've mentioned, and partner up with folks to actually form the agreements that allow us to grow and expand. Where's your real estate portfolio now? What are you doing in that in terms of that? Are you at a steady state? Are you growing? What are you doing?
I'm I actually kind of stepped back. I've actually sold some properties and because I've been concentrating on building my coaching. And the book The One Thing, you can only do one thing at a time. Although mine's all mostly all in real estate. So, but it was important for me I wanted to build out my coaching business. And at the same time, as you know, but not everybody may know, I lost my home
Yeah.
in a fire, and then 2 months later I lost my job. So it kind of put that on hold. And but luckily, although I had lost my home because my home was leveraged, I had 5 properties
Yeah.
based on that home that was now rubble.
Yeah.
So so I actually sold one of them, one of my condos that was a, 30-day plus rental. It was already nicely decorated. It was easy and it sold within 2 days because I needed to put back money into, and I made money on it too, into my line of credit to help me rebuild my home. Because that's another story with insurance companies. So I'm not going there. But I did build my home on my own and then have to recuperate the money from, from the insurance company. But then again, these are all ways that if I hadn't invested in real estate, I wouldn't have this extra money to be able to use as a stability for myself.
There's a statement on your bio I really like. So, um, and it says, are you worried that you may never be able to retire? I think this applies to a lot of folks. Do
Mhm.
you think that when you do retire, you'll be poor? Good question. The average retiree retires with only 272,000 and lacks the 1.7 million they need to retire comfortably. You know, this is something that resonates, I think, with so many people as they come to that reality check and say, hang on, my RRSPs did not do or did not perform as they were supposed to. Wait a minute, you mean I need to pay tax on that? Oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And so many people think that the answer is to sell their home, downsize in order to be able to have money to survive. And I think that's such a shame that you work for this major investment in your life. You're proud of it. You built it up to the point where you love it, and then you decide, okay, this is my bank. This is what I put aside. Now I'll sell that so I can enjoy retirement.
Yeah.
What
I
a
mean,
horrible kind of approach. I feel so bad for folks that we wind up in that situation. Um, Real estate is a tremendous opportunity for us to leverage, as you mentioned, and be able to grow using our equity to be able to grow instead of putting it aside and leaving it stagnant and watching it waste away, how to grow our portfolio and be able to then find ourselves in a position where the wealth that we've built is able to support us in retirement as opposed to having to sell the wealth in order to survive.
definitely. And that disappears so quickly.
Mhm.
That money will disappear so quickly too.
Yeah.
I say it's like, having your home and not leveraging it for an investment is it's like just sticking money under your mattress.
Giving it away, giving it to the
Yeah, it just is. And as you see, you don't know what life will bring you. So because I had leveraged my home, I was able to, sell and make some money to help myself in the situation I am. So I
and
was planning for retirement,
yeah.
but I was actually, it's actually helped me today. And that was exactly why, that statement that I have there that you just read was me. When I hit 50, like I don't care about my age. I'm here telling you I'm 55 years old. I don't mind. But it was when I hit 50, what the realization hit me that I still had 15 years to work.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I don't think I can do that. But then it was like, oh no, I only have 15 years to work. I'm still not going to earn enough money in that 15 years for me to retire and not have to live in a mobile home somewhere, right?
God help us, right?
For that money. And that's instead, but I wanted my whole dream of retiring was to be better off than I am today, to be able to relax and travel and do all these things that I can't do while I'm working. But then it's like, oh, I'm not even going to be able to live the life I'm living now if I continue at this rate.
Got to do something different. So
Yeah.
way to pivot. What a great idea. And so you're doing a few other things now, as I understand it too. Tell us
Yeah.
about this
So
new venture of yours.
yeah. So I mean, it's all because of real estate. So number one, I've been doing a lot of networking, and I've been actually networking outside of the real estate community. And I'm finding that that's one tip that I would like to share. It's great to network within the real estate investing community, but it's also great to expand that because you learn about new opportunities, you meet different people, they're able to give you ideas for building your business because it is a business outside of like we tend to share the same ideas as real estate investors. So seeing what other people are doing in their business and can we use it for our real estate investing. So I've been doing a lot of business networking. And one of those, I met someone that told me all about prepaid legal services,
Mm.
right? And I'd heard it before. I'd heard people mention the name Legal Shield before, but I never understood what it meant to me. So when she sat down and told me about it and what, the plans and how they worked, etc., I was like, wow, this is great. Because I spend in every contract that I either sign or that I issue, I spend about $1,600 to get a lawyer to review it.
Mhm.
Right. And then so these plans are like less than $2 a day, definitely less than a Starbucks coffee a day. And I'm able to get unlimited reviews of contracts, whether I issue it or whether it's issued to me.
Ooh, well, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know that this existed, and this service it's the only company that's offering it. And I mean, it's got family. So I looked at it from the business side, but then I looked at it from the family side, and you get your wills done for free, your prepaid, your power of attorney done, the health power of attorney. I've actually bought it for my kids
Hmm.
because now they're adult kids and I don't have any rights as a parent
Yeah.
now, as because they're adults, to make any decisions for them health wise if something happened to them and they couldn't make that decision themselves. So yeah, so I loved it. I signed up for it and I was like, okay, this is like something I really want to share with the real estate investing community. Mm.
Hmm.
Because there's so many benefits here. So many times we either spend the money that we could be investing on it, or we're like, Steve's a really nice guy. I trust Steve. I've known him for a while. I'm just going to sign the contract.
Yeah.
I'm just going to sign it because I don't want to pay that $1,600.
Yeah.
Right. So now everything I sign, I go, oh, well, I'll just have my lawyer look over that.
Right.
So I need a few days. I'll have my lawyer look after that. I can say that. I feel like a Fortune 500 person because I can say I'll have my lawyer deal with that.
Well, why not? Why not? Good for you.
Yeah, so I've decided to become, I've signed on with them as an independent associate, and because I want to, kind of educate real estate investors, but then, small businesses in the whole of how they can actually not only save money, but protect themselves. Because any business any changes to your business, anything that you want to do, you can then consult with a lawyer to say, what should I do? How should I do this? That sort of thing.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Nice. That
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah.
quite interesting. I'd be looking forward to hear more.
Yeah, so there's that. And then I was at a Legal Shield now networking like training thing in session where you bring in visitors. And I met someone. And well, actually, one of my upstream leaders said, I need to introduce you guys. You need to talk. And he was building an app for real estate investing.
Hmm.
And, and he's like, oh, Debbie's a real estate investor. She's a coach. You should talk to her. And he didn't even know that I was like, and then I said, yeah, and I'm an IT person too. Right? And so it's about, he's building an app similar to Addy,
Mm.
but it's got like the features are a little bit different in what type of projects are going to initially be in there. But it's it will allow Canadians, I want to say Canadians over the age of 19 with at least to invest at least with as little as $10 in real estate. So we want to blow that myth away that you have to have lots of money to invest in real estate. And you can say, oh, I have fractional shares in this particular project. So
Well, this is good. This is good.
yeah, so it's giving that little person, and which is, one of my goals was like one was goal was coaching because I want everybody to know, the same thing. Once we learn about real estate, we think everybody should be doing it.
Yeah, but I don't want them all there. I think we have enough competition, so somewhere in the middle of that, right?
Yeah, but we want investors, we want money coming in, and we want
Yeah.
we want people to learn. So you can learn, invest as little as or as much as you want in different projects, and you can diversify on this platform. So we're helping people to invest, but we can also help people who like active investors to raise capital, which is something that's difficult, and like crowd fund on it, right?
Yeah, no, this is good because, I mean, all kidding aside, I actually love the idea of helping to educate the masses here and what we do. It's something
Mm-hmm.
that is important. I feel like um, too much time has gone by being a consumer. It's time to actually be an investor and learn the art of actually developing passive income to help you see your way through retirement, as opposed to um, constantly trying to live off what little means you've got left, right?
And
So,
you're working so hard, and the government taxes you for more than half of it.
yeah, I mean, I've seen it happen. I've watched folks scrimp to save up so that they can do some of the smallest things, where we take it for granted. And I don't want
Mhm.
to. I'd like to help lift us out of that, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah, so now I'm a partner in this app that's going to be called Prop Exchange. It's they tell me it's going to be finished by the middle of February, and I don't believe it. I've worked in IT long enough to know
right, good,
that,
good, good.
right? So we'll see it sometime this spring. It'd be great to get friendlies like on it to start with. But I'll be the face of it. They want me to be being a coach. I'm going to be the person that's going to go to podcasts and trade shows, etc., telling
Fun,
people about the product.
fun. This is great. Good for you.
So my role on that is called I'm the let me see if I remember. I am the director, the chief public relations and cultural officer.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I think that's wonderful. Debbie, I think we're running close to the end of this, and what I'd like to do is make sure I ask you your why. So we all have reasons why we do what we do. Um, I'd just love to understand more about what it is that moves you, what it is that you're trying to do with this real estate and other businesses that you've got going on. And, what does success look like? What are you going to, how are you going to recognize success when you get there, that you've accomplished this goal and you've achieved what you wanted?
So success for me will be when I have time freedom, when I have the time to spend with my mom, to spend with my kids, to spend with my husband, when we can choose to say, oh, I don't have to worry about working today or working for this week or this month, and I'm going to be able to spend it with them. I'm not anywhere near that as yet. There are days that like weeks that I go and my mom's around the corner and I haven't been able to go out and spend time with her. So that's to me, that's why I lost my dad when he was 57
Wow.
and I just had my first baby, right? So to me, I know how short life can be. And that's my why is to be able to spend that time. And I had so many regrets when dad died. Right? I didn't say the things I should have. I didn't spend as much time. So that's what brings me back. So whenever I find that I'm doing things and I'm too busy and I'm not spending it with the kids, and my husband and I aren't, going on date nights, and we're just like two ships passing in the night, or those kind of things. It brings me back to say, Debbie, why are you doing this? Right?
Absolutely.
So
Very good. Time freedom is key, isn't it?
Mhm.
I like it.
And it's
So,
be that time with loved ones.
yeah, good for you. Good for you. Before we wrap things up, let me say it again. If you're enjoying this content, please make sure you hit the like button. If you think that your audience might enjoy it, please feel free to share it. And if you want to see any more, please hit the subscribe button. So thank you very much, Debbie. It's been a real pleasure having you on the show. I appreciate you, and I'm glad that we had a chance to do this together. If people want to reach out to you, how should they approach that?
So my website is www.debbiebalfour.com. So it's nice and simple. Or you can email me at debbie@debbiebalfour.com. And so I keep it nice and simple. If you just remember my name, you'll be able to find me. I'm also I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and I am on LinkedIn.
Very good.
So, and on YouTube.
And you,
So
that's right.
any of those
That's
places.
right. We didn't get a chance to talk about your podcast. Maybe we'll save that for the next one.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Debbie.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. Have a wonderful day.
Bye. Bye now.
Bye.